Hello everybody, it's the 25th of September 2020 and welcome to this concert which is part of the virtual Hearst Festival. I'm Mike Reinstein and this concert also features my wife, Reina, who'll be along in a few songs' time. Of course, we were going to be singing this set, or doing this set, at the Holy Trinity Church in Hurstpierpoint, but of course that was not to be. So instead we're recording it here at the transmission, or the Bramley Road studios in Pycombe, which is but a stone's throw from Hurstpierpoint's glittering High Street. Some of these songs were written a long time ago. Some of them were written just before the pandemic, and some actually during the lockdown. This first song I wrote just before the pandemic, and weirdly, the lyrics seem to be somewhat prescient. All at sea, having traveled far, no harbor light, no safe return. Where are the stars on this dark old night? Don't know where we are. We'll hold on tight, there'll be a way to find the stars. Oh, trust the moon, trust the moon to move the tide. Nurse our wounds, we'll heal the scars. What's done is done, and we'll sail on to find the stars on this dark old night. Having traveled far, there's a harbor light for our return, and stars, oh, trust the moon, trust the moon to move the tide. Trust the moon, trust the moon to move the tide. This next song is a love song. I can't fix a car or plaster a wall, I was never much good with my hands. I can't mend a roof, I'd be frightened to fall, I'm a happily cack-handed man. So when we first met and you told me your life, you couldn't be talking for tears. There were good times and bad, but trouble you had, sadness had followed you here. So I looked in your eyes and I stared at my feet and I wondered what more I could do. I thought I'll be your lover, I'll be your friend and maybe your husband too. And oh, I knew from the start I'd be the watchman for your heart. Well, I certainly wasn't the picture of health. Freud would have something to say. I didn't believe you'd be topping yourself. Life just got in your way. See, all that you needed, all that I needed was love, steady and true. A listening ear and a guiding hand, it's enough for me and you. And oh, I knew from the start I'd be the watchman for your heart. A willing heart, take my hand. A willing heart, take my hand. There you go. So, there's a love song. Now, a little pivot here to some politics. Of course, one of the things that's characterized the past few months has been the Black Lives Matter movement. Black Lives Matter is an extremely important thing, and I really, of course, wanted to write something about that, and I couldn't think of a way into this particular issue. And it's such a huge and terrible thing to be writing about. And then I saw a clip of President Trump holding a Bible outside St. John's Church in Washington. And I thought, that perhaps is my way in to this issue. So I'll just put a cap on. I'll just there. He's got his eyes on the vote. Just look at the man, power and guile with a Bible in his hand. On the steps of St. John's for a photo op, batons and tear gas, National Guard and the cops. They cleared his way. There are no words of Christ he could recite to justify his deeds. As he turns his face from the anger on the streets, what would Martin say? Here's a psalm for justice, a psalm for peace, a psalm for comfort, a psalm for grief. But if you've drawn the sword, bent the bow, cast down the poor, there's something you will know. Come the day, the righteous shall walk in the light as in the noonday sun. The wicked shall be defeated, everyone. What would Martin say? Dr. King had a dream for justice to flow down into a mighty stream. Freedom exalted, brutality is sin. The content of your character, not the color of your skin. And always march ahead. For the time is now to not turn back, to do what must be done. And from the dark to walk the sunlit path as one. That's what Martin said. That's what Martin said. Hello, Reina.
Hello, Mike.
Welcome.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the concert. Of course, it's very difficult these days to try and keep track of everything that's going on. It's very, very confusing. And this song reflects those feelings, I think. I'm so lost, I can't be discovered. If it's not one thing, it's gotta be the other. Well, I do it to myself. I'm the one who suffers. I can't blame God, my father or my mother. See, I don't understand it. Things are always changing. I want to be on top of it. Now that would be amazing. Feel like a stranger in my own hometown. I button my lip, I'm gagged and bound. I promise I won't make a sound. Nobody wants to be sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Reading all the Twitters and the knee-jerk nutters, dissembling and trembling as if it really matters. I can't be bothered, I leave it to the others. I look into their faces and they're pulling down the shutters. See, I don't understand it. They talk another language. They're eating up a lollipop. They say it is a sandwich. Feel like a stranger in my own hometown. I button my lip, I'm gagged and bound. I promise I won't make a sound. Nobody wants to be sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Nothing makes sense, nothing is discernible. I could be a ghost, I could be invisible. I listen to the arguments, none of them are plausible. I feel like a schmuck, am I that gullible? I don't understand it, why the idiots are grinning. It's like they always planned it, are they really, really winning? Feel like a stranger in my own hometown. I button my lip, I'm gagged and bound. I promise I won't make a sound. Nobody wants to be sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Sitting on the shelf in the lost and found. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Reina. I'll see you soon. Change of guitar. when the lockdown first happened, I got quite melancholic, really, and I experienced what I suppose is called a writer's block. I just couldn't write anything, and I just didn't know what to do. And I just sat there in a morose kind of way, and suddenly all these memories of childhood came back to me. I'm just going to have a sip of water. So this is a song, pardon me, about me growing up in North London. I lived on Bramley Road when I was a child. 4 bedrooms, roses, mock Tudor style. Mrs. Melvin lived next door with Mr. Chips. That was the name of her dog. Good boy, Mr. Chips. My very first girlfriend lived down the street. Beverly Berman was older than me. She came to my party when I was 5 and she was 6. She sat next to me. Beverly, oh, Bramley Road, my family road. The Cappuccinis had a house about 2 doors down. They owned a sandwich bar in the center of town. If you stood in their kitchen, it was a different world, garlic and wine, and the sound of coffee being freshly ground. Stanley Carmel had a house by the last street light. Every wall in his place was painted white. The doors were glass, pathogen-free. Stanley was a dentist. And every room looked like his surgery. Oh, Bramley Road, my family road. Stanford and Pat were the richest of all, sent their kids to a public school. Grand piano, cash to spare at number 96. And they all had freckles and ginger hair. My dad was a chemist, my mum was his wife. I acquainted myself with the neighborhood life. Watching the neighbors now, what did I see? Their everyday life. And all their faces have come back to me. Oh, Bramley Road, my family road. Oh, Bramley Road. Bramley Road, in Cockfosters. Here's more domestica. In our house, attached to the kitchen, is an area we call the booth. The booth is just a tiny little space where we keep brooms and dustpan and brush and that sort of thing. It's so badly made, this place. Nothing to do with us. I mean, when we moved in, that's where it was. It's so badly made that periodically mold appears, and I have to bleach the mold off with a special spray, which contains a kind of bleach. And one day I said to Reina, I'm going to have to bleach the booth. And I said, bleach the booth? Bleach booth? That's the name of a country singer. And here is his song, The Ballad of Bleach Booth. I wish I'd been born in a shotgun shack, starving but happy, of course. Instead, I was raised in a semi-detached, no hat, no gun, and no horse. I'm a country singer, I come from Cockfosters, it's the end of the Piccadilly line. My name is Bleach Booth, and I sing the truth from this old soul of mine. I don't drink whiskey and I don't drink beer in a bar in Tennessee. What I like best is mustard and cress and a cup of weak chamomile tea. I'm a country singer, I come from Cockfosters, it's the end of the Piccadilly line. My name is Bleach Booth, and I sing the truth from this old soul of mine. No train whistle whistling, no honky-tonk angels, no tumbleweed blown across the dirt. No white picket fences, just bankers and dentists and dry cleaners who launder my shirts. I'm a country singer, I come from Cockfosters, it's the end of the Piccadilly line. My name is Bleach Booth, and I sing the truth from this old soul of mine. So that is my story. It might have disturbed you, but nothing much happens right here in suburbia. I'm a country singer, I come from Cockfosters, it's the end of the Piccadilly line. My name is Bleach Booth, and I sing the truth from this old soul of mine. Hey, thank you. I wrote this song, I started to write a version of this song back in 1977, 78. And every so often I have to update it. It's a song really about fascists marching in the streets of London. It has particular reference to Cable Street, the Battle of Cable Street in 1936, when Oswald Mosley's fascists marched, black shirt fascists marched on the streets of East London and were stopped by 100,000 protesters. So when I wrote the song, the National Front were marching, and periodically it seems that Nazis march on our streets. If it's not in Charlottesville, in America, then it's on the streets of London or elsewhere. This is called On Cable Street. You're marching past the shops in our town, here in the land of hope and glory. You think you ought to rule Britannia. Little England, you'll save her. You've got something to say. What we hear loud and clear is your fear. Hands reaching out from the past, Your arms are straight and your faces are screaming what we've heard before. From Buchenwald to Warsaw, flames climbing high on the Reichstag. You're burning all the books. So now look, here you come again. Drums in your hands, boots on your feet. Just remember what happened on Cable Street. Here you come again, wrapped in your flags like winding sheets. Every road you walk will be Cable Street. So whose turn is it now? Who's gonna be your bad one? 'Cause when everything goes wrong, why not pin it on someone? Here comes somebody new. She looks different to you. She'll do. Here you come again. Drums in your hands, boots on your feet. Just remember what happened on Cable Street. Here you come again, wrapped in your flags like winding sheets. Every road you walk will be Cable Street. And every road you walk, 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 every road you walk will be Cable Street. Thank you. Thanks, Reina. Let me talk to you about Frederick Chopin. Oops, well, I can get my guitar. Frederick Chopin, the famous Polish composer, died when he was 39. On his deathbed, he spoke to his wife and friends, and he said, when I'm dead, I'd like you to open me up, because I have a morbid fear of being buried alive. And when he died at a very young age of 39, he was indeed opened up, and they conducted an autopsy, and they took his heart out, and they put it in a glass jar full of brandy to preserve it. And the jar was interred in a church in Warsaw. His body, however, because he was living in Paris, was buried at the Père Lachaise cemetery, where lots of famous people are buried. When I heard about this story, I thought, there's a song in here. So this is a song. It's a sort of ghosty song, really. Chopin, body, Père Lachaise, his heart in Warsaw. In the cemetery of Père Lachaise, here's what Frederick Chopin says to Oscar Wilde, an adjacent corpse. Here are my thoughts. I've been defiled, 'cause when I look to see inside of me, there's nothing in my chest cavity. I wish to complain about my remains. I've been torn apart. I've got no heart. in the cemetery of Père Lachaise. Here's what Frederick Chopin says to Jim Morrison, alas now a skeleton. They've done me wrong, my heart has gone. Then Jimmy said, be cool, you're dead. And then he carried on, did Morrison. I've heard say it's now far away in the land of your birth, interred in a church. Well, it's what you deserve, so it's what you deserve, so it's been preserved in a jar of cognac, special reserve. It's an homage to your art. They've pickled your heart. His heart was home, but his grave it was in exile, like Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh, oh, Frederick Chopin's pickled heart. In the cemetery the ghosts awoke, in righteous rage as one they spoke. In life the man was celebrated, in death Chopin was mutilated. Marcel Proust and Molière petitioned all who rested there. Balzac says this was not fair, and Bizet said, I just don't care. Then Chopin said, hey guys, don't get upset. If they see my heart, perhaps they won't forget my nocturnes and my polonaises. They'll think of me pushing up the daisies. His heart was home, his grave it was in exile, like Napoleon Bonaparte. Oh, oh, Frederick Chopin's pickled heart. Thank you. So before Brexit, before coronavirus, before Black Lives Matter, there was a crisis. Do you remember the climate crisis? Oh, yeah. I met God last night. He was lying on the street. There was a dog on a string, no shoes on God's feet. He was lying so still that I thought he was dead. Then he opened one eye, and here's what he said. The world could be a beautiful place, forests and oceans, such a wonderful space. But who comes along to wipe the smile off my face? The human race. The human race. Then God took a swig from a bottle of meths. He said, look at what's happening. No wonder I'm depressed. The flood in the fields, they're burning the trees. They poison the air, they poison the seas. The world could be a beautiful place, forests and oceans, such a wonderful space. But who comes along to wipe the smile off my face? The human race. The human race. I blame myself, said God, it's such a big mistake. The tree of knowledge, the apple and the snake. Then God took the dog and he held him in his arms. He said, you're good and kind, and you do no harm. Humans do what humans do. Humans could learn a lot from you. Then the dog turned and he looked at God. And this is what he said. Lord, much of what you say is true. But aren't humans made in the image of you? There's love and there's hate. There's truth and there's lies. Some humans are foolish. Some humans are wise. The world could be a beautiful place. Forests and oceans, such a wonderful space. God, in your mercy, are they so fallen from grace? Well, that's human race. Human race. Human race. Thank you. A few years ago, my stepson, Jonathan, went on an amazing expedition. This is all true, by the way. And his job was to film the first attempt by a Danish man to climb Everest without the aid of oxygen. So on the way home, through Kathmandu, Jonathan, my stepson, found himself in a market. And he thought, what can I bring back for my dear old stepdad that will remind him of this amazing expedition? And this is what he brought back. Thanks, Jonathan. I may be a throwback to an innocent time. When things get rough, I know how to stay in line. I don't blame it on my mother or implicate the cat. I wear my favorite hat. I was raised as a Jew. My rabbi said, Michael, if you want to love God, put something on your head. Tell me what kind of God insists on that. Still I wear my favorite hat. It cheers me up. Sometimes I can ring my bells. It cheers me up because it's something in which I excel. Fodiodo, mon chapeau. La 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 la. Now life is a song when you're appropriately dressed. It starts from the top, you can't forget about the rest. I'm in harmony with everyone, I never go flat. I wear my favorite hat. It was made in Nepal, in Kathmandu, by a Sherpa in the market. He knew just what to do. He was looking for a tourist to dress up like a prat. Now I've got this favorite hat. It cheers me up. Sometimes I can ring my bells. It cheers me up because it's something in which I do well. Good, good, good. Mein schöner Hut. La 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 la. La 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 la. It cheers me up. Sometimes I can ring my bells. It cheers me up because it's something in which I excel. My old tit for tat, it's my favorite hat. Thank you all. Reina. Oh, I'll take the hat off. The inner critic. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, there's a voice inside my head saying you haven't got a clue. Why not face the facts? You gotta do better, you gotta do better, you've gotta do better than that. The evidence, Your Honor, the evidence is clear. Those precious dreams I had, they all disappeared. When I'm climbing up the ladder, I fall down flat. I've gotta do better, I've gotta do better, I've gotta do better than that. When she starts to sing, does a baby bird worry about the sharps and flats? I've never heard a daddy bird say you gotta do better than that. So when I consider that disparaging voice, I can listen or not, it's a simple choice. You have to speak louder if you wanna spoil my act. You've gotta do better, you've gotta do better, you've gotta do better than that. When she starts to sing, does a baby bird worry about the sharps and flats? I've never heard a daddy bird say you gotta do better than that. So when I consider that disparaging voice, I can listen or not, it's a simple choice. You have to speak louder if you want to spoil my act. You've gotta do better, gotta do better, you've gotta do better, gotta do better, you've gotta do better than that. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the penultimate song of the set. And this is a song of hope that I wrote just after the writer's block, Eased. I'll just have another sip. Who knows how this will end? There's no telling me, there's no telling you, there's no telling when. Look at the world in a spin, all certainty is gone. Now what's to be done and where to begin? Darkness fell down on the face of the deep, so on every street sing, let there be light, let there be light, let there be light, let there be light. Some people look to the sky saying, what have we done to bring this upon our innocent lives? Still others, they'll look within to what they can find in their hearts and their minds, to where this begins. Darkness fell down on the face of the deep, so on every street sing, let there be light. Oh, let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. So now, what will we do with all that we've learned? Do we simply return to the tried and untrue? Look at the world in a spin. The old ways have passed. The question to ask is where we begin. Darkness fell down on the face of the deep, so on every street sing, let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. Look at the world in a spin. The old ways have passed. The question to ask is where we begin. Thank you. So this is our last song. Before that, I just want to do a few thank yous. First of all, to the to Hearst's Festival Committee, to Katie Hecht and Catherine Jackman and anybody else who's involved. Thank you very much for keeping the ball rolling. It's brilliant that you're doing this. Thank you to Ali Gavin, who's been filming us at Brighton Road Studios in Pycombe. And my personal thanks to Reina. Thank you, Reina.
Well, shucks. Thank you, Mike.
So this is the last song. Good night. I hope you've enjoyed it, and thank you very much for watching, and enjoy the rest of the wonderful things that are happening at the Hearst Festival. The day is done, the crowd has gone, the circus says good night. The big top says it's time to stop and turn out all the lights. The strong man's in his caravan. The circus says good night. The acrobats roll up their mats. The jugglers sing sleep tight. The fire eater toasts her bread. The tightrope walker falls into bed. And now the sun has gone, and just for a while the clown wipes off his smile. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.